It's currently 9:54 p.m. What I've done most recently is to delete both the UCut video project that I uploaded to my YouTube channel, as the March 16th my dinner video, roughly 3.5 hours ago, while me and my dad were at our usual Salvatore's location. With some of his friends, and later on one of his brothers. I deleted not only that UCut video project, but also the raw video files that I used to make that UCut video project file that I uploaded to my YouTube channel. Not that long ago. After checking the audio and then the video of the March 16th my dinner video, while still at Salvatore's, I'm currently having this IPA, Big Little Thing IPA. I only had one alcoholic beverage. While at Salvatore's, it was essentially some of what was left over. A special cocktail for St. Patrick's Day called Shamrock Punch. Though it didn't seem very green. For something that was meant to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I had it roughly starting at 5:45 p.m. And we were at Salvatore's until roughly 8:45 p.m. So we were there for 3 hours. And after I finished the Shamrock Punch, I just sipped at 3 glasses of iced water. Though for the last half of the last glass, I kind of had to suck it down rather than sipping at it through a straw, a plastic straw, which is what's provided by our local Salvatores. As at that time, me and my dad were getting ready to leave. I think we would have left around 7. Somewhere between 7 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. originally, but then one of my dad's brothers suddenly showed up. My dad recognized him and announced that to me, or at least alerted me. Me and my dad didn't order any food. While we were at Salvatore's. As we had food earlier and had food to eat at home. In this case, what I'm having right now. I recall waking up for today around 9:45 in the morning. After going to bed falling asleep somewhere between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. I originally meant to wake myself up at 9 in the morning using an alarm I set on my laptop through a third-party website. But I ended up sleeping through it. Thankfully not by that much, so I should be able to go to bed at a good time. To be on a good sleep schedule for my shift at Wegmans tomorrow. It's currently 10:06 p.m. and I just finally got the hard badge for this game, Random Number God Idol. After pretty consistently playing since February 5th of this year. Around 10:45 in the morning, I had with my first cup of plain coffee some of the leftover order of fried dough that we got yesterday. from Perry's Pizzeria's pub location. My dad had heated up the leftover fried dough. Most likely using our toaster, and melted the leftover vanilla frosting that initially came with the order. As for the extra vanilla frosting, container that I got after asking for it, we still have that somewhere in our refrigerator. I recall we left around 11:45 in the morning. First to go to my dad's parents' place to pick up his mother, and then my dad drove her car with me and his mother in it. And my dad was in the driver's seat. His mother was to the right in the front passenger seat, and I was in the back passenger seat right behind her. We first went to the Savers we always go to, which is a thrift store. That sells donated goods. And then we went to the Ollie's next to it, which is a discount store that essentially buys the inventory whenever a retail store either overstocks, goes bankrupt, or otherwise has essentially too much supply for too little demand. Thus, the store is able to buy cheap and then subsequently sell cheap. Nothing interested me at the Savers we went to, but I was interested in essentially two aluminum tins or cans of mixed nuts. If I recall, by the Imperial Nuts brand. As nuts are a keto-friendly snack. Ollie's is kind of, in a way, like a general store in what it sells. Dry goods. Dry goods essentially being the only category of goods that they sell that the Savers we went to doesn't sell. We then went to the nursing home my dad's dad is currently living at in order to visit him. The three of us, me, my dad, and his mother. And then we went over and briefly stayed at my dad's parents' place after dropping my dad's mom off there. By which time it was around 2:30 p.m. and my dad's mom made the three of us, me, my dad, and his mother, essentially Reubens with corned beef. And with that, I had an aluminum can of ginger ale, generic branded ginger ale, in an aluminum can just like this one. And on the side, I had some mildly spicy, to me at least, pickle slices that were in a glass jar and store-bought. And this was after finishing that cup of plain coffee. I had about a thermos and a half of that Brian Dairy thermos that I've been using all the time lately, at least while at Dad's place, of plain coffee. In between when I finished that first cup of plain coffee and up to that point, around finishing that plain coffee roughly around 2:15 p.m. Here's where I am currently on the Mughal polystyrene drawing project. First, I touched up this bottom part of this wing, primarily using this Sharpie marker, and primarily so that none of the touch-ups would result in marker being too dark. This is the ultrafine of the lightest hue of purple, which is actually used for this part of the sky, and the lightest possible blue, this being the ultrafine for it, and this is the fine tip for it, is actually for this part of the sky. And I did the touch-ups for this bottom part of that wing before I started imagining essentially how to mirror that wing from the front side to the back side of this polystyrene drawing project, using this end of this dual tip, the second lightest hue of purple, before realizing that I should probably make this part of the 50 crate on the back of the polystyrene drawing project. I try and make it seem smoother, more straight, the top edge of the 50 crate. And I ultimately decided to use this ultrafine Sharpie marker. Yeah, I'm not really sure at this point, in some cases, exactly what Sharpie marker I used previously for this project, as I ended up doing some small polystyrene ball projects in between when I started this particular project and now, but what I'm doing so far seems to be working pretty well. I did today's work during the period of time I was home at my dad's place, in between after we came back from my dad's parents' place and before we left for our usual Salvatore's location. Roughly from about 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. I predominantly use these Sharpie markers for today. It's currently 11:20 p.m. and around 11 p.m. my mom picked me up from my dad's place and drove me to her place. As it would, that way it would be easier rather than me staying at my dad's place, since she'll be taking me to the Wegmans I work at tomorrow. I brought over a reusable Wegmans canvas bag or cloth bag full of my clothes from my dad's place and my laptop case, which currently holds my current laptop, the charger to it, the charger to my phone, my computer mouse, and my wired headphones.